It's really hard to judge yourself when all day, every day, you're committing acts of love to yourself. It's really hard to judge yourself. Why am I going to judge this person that takes care of himself like nobody on this earth does? Why am I going to judge this person when he loves himself and does everything to love others? Why?
I think it's just ingrained in your head when you say there's a pizza and you're just you want to eat it, but you're I'm on a diet, I'm not eating it. There's something that just goes in your head like
damn, you love yourself.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 12 of the Jason Scalora Show. Back again with Mr.
IK. IK is back.
Yeah.
Yes,
Always
sir.
back. Back and better than ever. Looking fresh as a doll.
Appreciate it.
Look at that cut, bro. Look at that thing. Sheesh. Looking handsome.
Shout out to my barber.
Oh, God. What's his name?
Anyways.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, but Razor Ram. I went there. I don't know his name, but... Okay.
So what's up? What's been on your mind, homie?
Yeah, we were just talking about... we weren't talking about it, but just staying consistent after consistently doing the same things when that emotion goes away, I would say.
When the emotion goes away?
Like the honeymoon phase goes away. Yeah.
Like when you just start, like good examples like the gym. After you are no longer getting the newbie gains and you've plateaued, keep working out, obviously.
It's that, when you start something, you feel amazing, and then you're I'm really making a change. But once you do it 2 or 3 weeks in a row, each day feels like you're doing less.
Yes.
Because it's so, you've been doing it so many times that
the newbie games are no longer in progress.
And it's so ingrained in your head when you do it. The first day, it's that's when somebody asks you what your day's about, it's you tell them that.
This is what I'm doing. Yeah.
But 2-3 weeks later, you're there's something else on your mind.
Right. There's a couple things that make me think about, that it made me think about was, one, when you first start making progress in anything, the novelty of it is just so exciting because everything's unique, everything's new, you're learning everything. It's the same thing in the honeymoon phase.
You have no idea what you're going to learn.
You're learning so much and you have no idea what's going to happen, how things are going to work out, right? And so that uncertainty and that variety of the situation is just so exciting to you. It's the same thing with a relationship with somebody, right? You just start going out in the first couple of dates. Oh my gosh, it's amazing, right? You're learning everything about this person. You're learning all their new stories, all their new jokes, what they're like, what kind of life experiences they have, everything, right? And so everything's new, so it's exciting, right? Because you've never experienced any of it before. It's all new. So I think, the novelty creates that really extremely encapsulating and enticing feelings that you get when you first start off with a new habit, whatever it may be. But I think secondly, progress equals happiness, right? The more progress you make in life, the happier you're going to feel, right? And so the graph, right? If you could graph out the amount of progress you make in any area, when you first start a new habit, it's straight up. You know what I mean? You make so much progress right away. It's the same thing with sports, right? If you take up tennis, your first couple weeks playing tennis, you're going to go from, let's say you start at 0% good at tennis because you never played tennis, to then 50% of your capacity of tennis, right? Because you learn everything. You learn how to hit the ball. You need to turn the racket, how you position your feet, everything, how to serve, all these things. So you're learning so much in such a short period of time. But once you have the fundamentals down, now going from that 50% to maybe the 60% to 70%, right? It's going to take you just the same amount of time that it took you to go from 0 to 50 as it will to take you to go from 60 to 65. And so you're wait, this doesn't feel as good. But it's no shit. The amount of happiness you're going to feel is in direct proportion to the amount of progress you're making. So when you start a new habit, it's going to feel way better in the beginning because you just started. So you're learning more and you're doing more. But people, I find, often get into the trap of, it doesn't feel as good, so I'm just going to stop. Yeah. Right? And so that's what you were just, and that's bringing it back to the beginning. Is after you're out of the honeymoon phase, people are like, well, this isn't as fun anymore. I've done my first couple months of working out, and now I'm not gaining as much muscle as fast as I was in the beginning because your bicep goes from this to this, but then it goes from this to this to this to this to this in the same amount of time.
Even though it looks good, it's big. It's just there's no progress. We need that progress.
Well, there is progress. It's just nothing in comparison to where I was before.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just go. I'm thinking a little bit right now, but just how do you keep going when that feeling goes away?
I think in my eyes, it's remembering why, right?
The goal, not the goal, but the why.
You remember, yes, and your why is obviously attached to your outcome, right? So a good example is like if you're that sounded funny.
It did.
A good example is like if you're a father of a family, right, or your mother family or whatever, and you have kids, right, that are watching you, and obviously they're absorbing everything, all your philosophies on life, how you handle yourself, right, all of these things, and if you're wondering, okay, well, like, what's going to keep me going through, right? The same question. Why am I going to be the same type of person that's going to, let's say, exercise every day? And every time you wake up, right, after the honeymoon phase is over of working out and your newbie gains are not in progress anymore, what's going to pull you through is, I'm doing this for my kids.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for my kids. I want my kids to be happy and healthy, and I need to model that for them. So when you're going to the gym and you're not seeing the same results as you were before, that reason why is going to pull you through. But it doesn't matter if you're a dad or a mom, or if you're 10 years old or 20 years old or 100 years old. Like, you can think about your life and reflect on your experiences, what you want to do with your life, what changes you want to make in the world, and align your reason why with all of your habits, with any of your habits, with what you're actually doing. And then when times get tough, the mental reminder of that fact alone is what's going to pull you through.
So would you say, like in the beginning, don't feel good because of how the progress you're making?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say, well, that's inevitable. I think it's almost inevitable to, like, when you see you're making progress, to like try and.
That's what I'm saying. Is there a way to like not focus on that? Because there's a lot of people I know that like they get huge in the gym, but then they stop for like a year and then they come back.
Well, I think the true. Because the diagnosis of the problem is you feel good in the beginning and then you no longer feel as good as you did in the beginning. So in comparison, it's like, well, this doesn't feel good anymore. It still feels good.
Yeah.
You just, they're not as good as, because you're not accelerating as fast as you were in the beginning. But I think the way to combat that isn't to try and not feel good in the beginning. Because unless you know of something, of a way to like actually do that, or a way to do that without simultaneously having serious negative side effects, like preventing yourself from feeling good when you're making progress. Like, I feel like that's a very touchy subject to try and touch on. But in my eyes, the true way to fix that is to create an empowering reason why. So that when that dopamine, extreme levels of dopamine and good feelings are gone because the newbie gains aren't there anymore, you have a strong reason why that's going to pull you through.
Why? How would you have that reason, like, how would you monitor that reason and have it like keep going in your head? Because there's a lot of times I don't want to do something. I'll just take an example. Like, I don't want to work out. The first thought isn't like the reason why I'm working out.
Right.
So how do you make that a more apparent thought in your head?
Through monitoring it, thinking about it, right? And training yourself. It's not going to be like every time you don't feel like working out after you're done with the newbie gains, whatever. It's not going to be like every time you work out now and you don't feel like it beforehand that you're going to be like, oh, I remember my reason why. Oh, I remember my reason why. And now it's empowering and it's feeling good, right? But if you can be like, okay, maybe like the same thing with the bouncy ball. Remember that example, right? Maybe you won't catch it more than once a week, right? So every time you work out, you feel like shit. Every time you feel like shit and you're about to work out and you don't want to, you don't catch it every time. You don't remember your reason why. You're not consciously thinking about it. But then maybe on that 6th or 7th workout, you're like, oh, I remember. This is why I need to do it. And then you'll have that good feeling, and it's literally energizing because your mind can create emotions in your body, obviously, right? If you can, it's like listen to a sad song, see how you feel. It's the same thing. And so eventually over time, the more you think about it, the more times you're going to remember it when you're in that moment.
Yeah.
Right. And I gave you the same example when we were talking earlier about when I was washing the dishes. Right. I was so fucking tired. I didn't want to do it. Like, I was just like,
there's probably a shit ton of dishes too.
Not even actually. This is funny. I was a lazy bastard. And so I'm sitting there. I'm like, I just really don't want to do it. And the more I thought about it, the worse I felt about doing these dishes. And they were like some demon I was putting in my head. And so I remembered, like I told you, the mental quote, right? And it gave me energy. And the quote was, It doesn't matter how the fuck you feel.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. No one cares how you feel.
Did you just think of that, or did you like watch something that said that, or
Nope.
like it just popped up in your head?
It just popped in my head. But I'm in that process right now of whenever things are happening and I don't want to do them. Most of the time, I'm still unconscious and I don't remember that thought. But then eventually I will. But the more times I remember it, the more times I remember it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And so the timing in between the number of times, let's say hypothetically, I'm doing dishes. Maybe I'll remember it once every 10 dishwashes, and then after that, I'll remember it on the 9th time, right? And then I'll remember it on the 8th time, and eventually I'm gonna remember it every single time.
Yeah.
But that's literally just the concept of monitoring.
The thing that comes to my head is, can you say that to yourself every time? Because there's a time you could say that to yourself and there's no effect.
You think so?
I think so.
See, I've never done that, so I don't know.
Because I believe so. Because there's things that I tell myself to like get me through something, but there's just days where like I say it and it's like I don't care.
Do you think you have a strong enough reason why? Is it a reason why, or is it just a quote?
It's probably a quote. It's probably me not putting a specific reason and then a big enough reason.
Yeah, because see, I probably should have touched on this when I was talking about the dishes, but like a big thing for me is like, I'm in the process of changing the world, right? And it sounds so grandiose, like, oh yeah, I just have these big goals, you know, I'm just like super awesome. I'm kick ass. Like I'm going to do things out there and you're not, you fucking accountant or whatever. But that's not what I mean. What I mean is
sure. Keep going.
What I mean is like basically, Jesus, I'm in like this. No. Sometimes when you make jokes, it like my brain switches and it's like funny time, and then I can't go back to like, oh wait, we were talking about something. Fuck.
Close the eyes.
Okay.
That big goal.
So I have a very big goal to change the world, to change the education system, to coach people, and to help people's mindsets on life, right? And so me saying to myself, it doesn't fucking matter how you feel, is attached to a deeper reason why which is I want to change the world. I want to improve the mindsets of in the entire world, right? How am I supposed to do that if I don't have myself in order, right? And with that, now that means I have to be disciplined. It doesn't matter how I feel. When I tell myself I'm going to do the dishes, I do the dishes. When I tell myself I'm going to clean my room and I really, 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 really don't want to do it, I do it, right? But then that means that I'm going to have not only the correct communication, but I'm going to have the right to tell other people when I'm coaching them, when I'm trying to change the world, to get your room together, to do your dishes, to do things that you don't feel like doing, regardless of how the fuck you feel.
Yeah.
But I can't come from a place of, I can't say that coming from a place of, but I'm the exception. I don't have to do things when I don't feel like doing them. That's impossible.
You just can't be a hypocrite about it.
Which is what I'm saying, which is I can't change the world if I can't have the discipline to do the dishes.
If you can't change your own world, you can't change the world.
Exactly. I can't criticize others when I'm not in check. How am I supposed to criticize the world if I can't even keep my room clean?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I can't coach you and tell you, hey, you should work out and meditate if I'm just fucking sitting on my ass all day. And not for nothing, people are going to see through that anyways. Do you know?
There's just a certain, that's why I think energy is so important. Nice. You could just feel when somebody says something, if they're like genuine, like if they've really gone through it.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like something in your body just reacts to it.
Sorry, I'm covered.
It's all good.
Well, dude, you can feel it. Like when you know. You can feel it like when you're talking to someone and you know that they're saying bullshit. You know when you...
Don't worry about it.
All right. You could... We good. You could feel it when you're talking to someone or when you're the one bullshitting. You feel it in your body like the tense, like, nah, I'm full of shit right now. Like I'm fluffing up my life or I don't know what I'm actually talking about or I didn't mean what I just said or whatever. You know what I mean? And you could people can feel that when you bullshit and you can feel it when other people bullshit.
It's just people don't say it. That's
but it's a feeling for sure.
It is for sure.
And with that said, I would not be able to tell somebody to clean the room and them actually take me seriously and them actually make the changes and therefore change the world if I didn't take care of my own shit.
Yeah.
If I only did things when I felt like doing them. And so when I tell myself it doesn't matter how the fuck you feel, that quote is empowering because it's attached to that reason why, right? Yeah, I'm glad I intellectualized that and actually like spoke it out because it makes it makes it a lot more concrete in the understanding of why I actually it gives me a boost of energy in that moment to get up and do the dishes even though I don't feel like it.
It's people don't realize how much a reminder really helps you.
It's so crazy. I just realized it.
Because it's like something sounds annoying when somebody says something every single day, but it's like you're not gonna forget it. Whatever they're saying. Like if somebody says like have a great day every single day, you're just whenever you see that person, you're gonna be like, oh, he's a person who says have a great day. Like that's just one small example, but like it's just a remind. And I think it's that when you have the quote connected to the goal, once you keep saying the quote, I think the goal that you have in the end, or like say you changing the world, as when you say it doesn't matter how you feel, each time you do it, the goal kind of gets a little like you don't see it as much because you're not looking at it.
Yeah.
You're looking at the quote. So I think you get to the point where you see the quote and you forget what the goal was.
But you still feel the same feeling.
I think that's what happens when you don't feel that feeling. Is because you forgot what that goal was, even though
I think maybe because in my eyes it's all classical conditioning, right? So do you know about the basic dog experiment where they ring the bell and they give the dog food, right? So for those of you that don't know, classical conditioning essentially means you pair something with a certain experience, and that experience elicits an emotion. And then eventually you pair that thing with that experience, which elicits that emotion enough times to where just this thing alone, without that experience, elicits an emotion. And the way that Ivan Pavlov did it was shout out to the name Ivan, bro, on God. He rang a bell and he would give the dogs food, right? And the dogs would salivate. He was actually doing the experiment for something completely different. I think something with saliva or whatever. But he started to realize when he just rang the bell, before they even gave them food, they would start to salivate. And so eventually he started to realize like, oh my God, ring the bell, food, salivate, ring the bell, food, salivate, ring the bell, food, salivate. And then all he had to do was ring the bell and not even give them food and they would salivate because that's classical conditioning. So for me, in my eyes, and the way that it works in this situation is every single time I tell myself, I've paired enough times of the quote of it doesn't matter how the fuck you feel to my strong reason why of I'm changing the fucking world. Quote, I'm changing the world. Quote, I'm changing the world. Quote, I'm changing the world. To now saying the quote elicits that emotion.
Because what I get from like ringing the bell for the dog is like like they need to eat to survive. So you got to get to the point where that goal is like something you need to survive. That's when it's like when you hear the quote, like it's something so
Agreed.
So like because food is like you need it.
You need it. Yeah,
it's like when people say like you got to want it more than you want to breathe. It's kind of like that. So
see, that's true. I never thought about that.
Yeah, when it's not that big of a goal, that's when it slowly diminishes and the reminder is like gone and gone and gone, and you're just starting to say words that like used to link up with something else, but it might link up to something else now.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't put enough emphasis on the fact that it needs to be an empowering goal. And me saying empowering goal you don't really think about, it needs to be an empowering goal. Like I'm not just saying have an empowering goal. I'm going to change the world. Like if you or the viewers knew how fucking strongly, like if the universe or God can wave his hand and say you can die right now and that goal will be achieved, I'm dying in an instant. No questions asked. And that's genuinely from my soul how I feel about that. There's no question about it. And so there's no wonder that I can get up and do the dishes from that quote because of that emotion. But that's because I have an empowering reason why.
Yeah.
And you need that empowering reason why.
And then in the beginning, did you remind yourself of that goal consistently?
Yes. It was that thought process, right? This is literally within the past month or so. Like that thought process of, okay, the quote, but it's attached to the goal. The quote, but it's attached to my reason why, right? And eventually now I'm at the point where I'm just thinking of the quote. when it's time to do things like the dishes or make or fold my clothes or whatever. And I get up and I do it. So, yeah.
We're a creature that forgets a lot.
Yes.
So when you really want something, you got to remind yourself every day. And it's sometimes you just don't want to remind yourself what it is.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're doing something that feels so good, but instead you got to do something that's going to remind you of you getting better. And it's just a battle with yourself.
Yeah, man.
I think it's super important having the cues in your environment to help you do the right thing. Yeah. The right thing. The thing that is going to help you grow if that's what you want to do.
The right thing.
Yeah. Because I think it's in Atomic Habits, the eyes are like the biggest cue.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to set up your environment to a way that like when you see something, you do it.
Yeah. Which is why I think as a side note for everybody, this is one of the most biggest game changers that I've ever had in my entire life when it comes to self-improvement. But get a whiteboard in your room. Mm-hmm. Get a whiteboard in your room, right? When you have a list of things that need to get done in that day, that you get to do. We'll get into that after. But when you have a list of shit that you need to get done today, and it's not in your notebook, closed in your drawer, it's in your fucking face every single time you walk into that room, the chances of you doing it are way higher. Mm-hmm. If you're constantly reminded, you're not doing it, you're not doing it, you're not doing it, you're being inadequate, you're being a little fucking bitch.
And you're judging yourself off of it.
And it's just you. Like, and it doesn't even have to be anybody else. Although if somebody else was saying it, he'd probably be like, all right, I'll fucking fold my clothes or whatever, right? If you constantly have that reminder every time you walk into your room, the chances of you getting it done are way, way higher. And I'm telling you that from experience. Yeah. And not only that, planning out your day, looking at the things that you need for the week, your priorities, like what has to get done, what fun things that you want to do, plans here, like the constant reminder of the organization of your day, of your week, of your year, of your priorities is so helpful in ways you can't even comprehend. But it's a lot different of having it in a closed notebook in your drawer or even an open notebook on your desk than having a fucking whiteboard on your wall. Like it's there.
Yeah.
It's so helpful.
I think it's, I mean, for me in the beginning it was tough getting a whiteboard because I would what am I supposed to write on there?
Yeah.
There was that thing. And then two, it was like, just imagining me planning out the whole week was wasn't like, it didn't fit right with something inside of me. I just didn't connect with it. But like now seeing if you actually write your shit down, and you see it, the more times you see it, it's going to be in your head. You have to do it.
So actually what that made me think of it, because when you said you didn't know what to write down, I feel like it would be highly valuable for people to understand what I'm talking about here. So I'll move off to the side so I can edit this well. So
I have my whiteboard right here. No, I'm just
all right here. I want you to write. No, so when I first got my whiteboard, it was the same thing. I got the whiteboard and I realized it was super important to have. I was like, what the fuck do I do? And so a couple things that I find super, super important. One, in one section on my whiteboard, right in the middle, I write the night before, I write out the day for the next day. And it's a very general sketch of the day, right? Wake up, eat, gym, shower, podcast, XYZ, whatever, right? And then...
What would you say basic stuff that you would kind of get done without even kind of looking at it?
Yes, but just put it in an order so that you don't have the mental drain of tomorrow when the day comes of having to think about whatever it is that you have to do.
That is important because the first thing you see podcasts, you're like, damn, I didn't even wake up yet.
Yeah, no, literally. No. Damn, I didn't even wake up yet.
Yeah, so that's one section.
I write out my day, and so that it takes away the decision fatigue of having to make the choices of what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? Because you will spend so much energy in the day figuring out what the fuck you're going to do when if you could just have it written out for you. It's stupid and silly as it sounds. If you can just write out what you're going to do in what order you're going to do it, you will take away so much you will save so much energy throughout the day that you can use for other things in your mind. Instead of having to choose, well, I don't know, should I podcast now and golf later? Well, the weather's nice now, but I don't know if you just have it out and you there's no questions, the decision fatigue is way less.
But before you keep going, my thing is say I want to work out in the morning and skip it or whatever. And I'm should I work out at 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock? And then I get to the gym at 8 PM, I have no energy. I've wasted so much energy thinking about actually working out rather
That's
than
so
doing
true.
it.
That has definitely happened to me a lot of times where I'm like,
It doesn't happen all the time, but like there's definitely times I'm like, damn, why did I have a bad workout?
and it's most likely because you're so fatigued on, should I work out now? Should I work out later? When do I work out?
There's so many times it's like,
Yeah.
I'll work out later.
Yeah.
It'll be better. And then something pops up where it's like, I got to help out somebody. And it's like, all right, I'll do it later. 4 o'clock, you're like, you know what? Let's do a night workout. Worse workout.
Yeah.
But keep going.
So I have a bunch of other sections. On the bottom of my whiteboard, I put a couple of my low resolution goals that I want for like maybe the week or whatever. Mm-hmm. It depends. And then on the whole left side of my board, on like the left third rather, I have my daily habits. And then next to them, I just check them off as I go, right? And so I have exercise, content creation, journaling, meditation. And then sometimes it will vary depending on what's going on in my life. And I just check those off as I go through, right? And it's good to remind myself as I'm going throughout the day, right? Oh, do I have a second to meditate real quick to get my meditation done? You know, I'm in and out of the house, but I got 10 minutes here. Like the whiteboard's there as a perfect reminder. Check it off when you're done. Feels great too when you check it off. But one of my favorite things that I have on my whiteboard is it's called the something quadrant. Important, urgent quadrant, I think. I'll put it up right here. So essentially, it's 4 squares, right? It's 4 squares, and you have important, not important, urgent, not urgent, right? And so in one square, it's an important and urgent, and the other square is important, not urgent. The other square is not important, not urgent.
It's like dominant recessive genes from biology. You're welcome.
Yeah, yes. I mean, it's the same. The box is made the same way. That's about the only thing that they have in common. Understood. And then you have, I don't know which one was left, but you get the point. And so in each of those things, you want to just lay out your. For me, it's like the following month is what I have laid out, right? Things that are urgent, things that are not urgent, things that are important, not important, and I have them all laid out, right? And you don't really have to put anything in the bottom right quadrant. It's things that are not important and not urgent. So it's like
brushing your teeth.
Yeah, facts. I don't if I'm tired in the morning, I don't fucking brush my teeth. Fuck, brush their teeth, bro. Anyway, shout out to Dr. Miner.
I thought you were gonna say something else, but keep going.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Please forgive me for sinning, but keep going.
I do know what you're going to say. Anyways. The twins, baby.
So, their names.
Anyways. Holy shit. Anyways, in each of those quadrants, write down all of the things. For me, I do it for the month, right? And so it really helps you prioritize. It's like, oh, like this actually comes before this because this is important and urgent, and this is not as important, but it's a little urgent. But like you have all these priorities, and when you see them in the quadrants, it really helps you prioritize. Like, oh, I don't need to be doing these things right now, or I should be doing this because this is more important, or I should be doing this because it's more urgent, but then it is important. But you know what I'm saying? But when you have it in the quadrants, it solidifies it, and it really takes away from your decision fatigue and the mental fatigue of trying to keep a mental list of whatever it is that you need to get done for the week, for the month, for the day.
Those things that you have, say it's like important and urgent, right?
Yep.
Do you write on your whiteboard how you can get it, like a plan to get it done?
I don't. I also think that for me, what I have found is that trying to put everything down on my whiteboard, right? It wasn't necessarily exactly what you were saying, but like I would try and write out this and do this and have this written out and like have
Give me one example if you can.
So like a good example is I would write out like for my homework assignments on the side for like the week, and then I'd write out like page numbers of the textbook, and I write out this and this and this, and they'd all be written. It would take me like fucking 30 minutes to write it out. It's like it's like I'm spending all this time making it because like it feels good to like have it done.
Rather than doing it.
Rather than using it And then that same homework assignment week would be that little box. It would be untouched for months. And I've had September's fucking thing from last semester, and I'm like, all right, this is not useful. So you got to make it as easy as possible. And I think the quadrants thing is very, very easy. You do it literally once in a while, and it sits there for a bit, and you remember what's important, what's not important.
Keep seeing it,
right? And you keep seeing it. The daily thing is so easy. It takes fucking 30 seconds, not exaggerating. You write your goals down once. That will take a couple minutes, and then it's just there for you to see. And then your daily habits are a check mark once a day. Right? So those things, in total, the amount of time I spend writing or erasing on my whiteboard is like 2 minutes a day.
Okay.
Right? Maybe on the first day it's 10 minutes or whatever, right? But it's 2 minutes a day. The fact that it's a reminder and it's blaring in your face is what's so helpful and useful about it. But again, don't make your whiteboard something that is annoying for you to get done. Make it something that's not annoying to do.
That's what I was going to say. Use it in your advantage.
Yes.
Everybody has creative power, and just like, for one thing, what I do is I write down some verses on like half of it, because it's double sided. On one side, I'll just write verses, and then I got to look at it. Like when I go to bed, like I'm looking at it. So that gets me thinking about like God and like what I should be doing, like because I want to grow in that way. And then the other side, I'll write like the daily goals, what I want to do, but also I'll just figure shit out. Like instead of journaling, I'll do it on the whiteboard because it just feels so good. Yeah,
writing with a marker. There's something about that. It's
it feels good for me. But then when I could write it down instead of what you were saying, writing in a notebook paper and just put it away. When I write it on there and then I look at it consistently, I'm gonna think of new ideas for that whatever I wrote down.
Right.
Like let's say like the question is like, I don't know, like trying to learn more about peace, and then like I fill up the whiteboard about like my thoughts about peace, like just trying to learn from it. If I look at it every single day, each day I'm going to have different thoughts towards it. So I might just like one day just strike on gold. That's how I use it.
It's essentially more repetitions with the idea, and the more you wrestle with it, the higher the chances that you're going to come to a breakthrough conclusion.
And it's that having that visual, like you see it.
Yeah, so it's a cue.
Yeah, having that cue of like I see it, I'm thinking about it, because that's why the environment's so crazy. It's like when you, like I can say donkeys right now. What are you thinking about? Yeah, like you're gonna do whatever you see here. Like so when you could manipulate it in a way to help you grow, why not do it?
Huh?
Yeah,
I like that shit.
I like it too. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Damn, that's kind of bust. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, because
reminders, dude.
Because I like I like typing now. I can type pretty fast. So
this motherfucker, he's pretty fast. This dude is literally like, brrr, like you've seen it in like cartoons where they're like their hands are furiously moving, and I'm watching you do it, and like the words are just perfect. And I'm like, what is happening right now?
No, but I make a Google Doc, and like one day I got 5,000 words. I was like, holy shit. Like, I was writing for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
I've never looked back on it, and like I don't even know to this day what I was writing about. But when I have it on the whiteboard, you see it for a week straight. It's going to be in your head even if you erase it.
Right.
So it's just reminders.
I like that, but the flip side of the coin on that is...
You right?
Is the flip side of the coin of that is that when you have something written down, whether it's a notebook, journal, or a Google Doc or whatever. Like for me, I have a Google Doc and every single day, once a day, I journal in it. And most of it is just literally a summary of my day. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll catch a thought and I'll meditate on it and I'll write about it and I'll fully think it through, whatever. But I really, really, really love to just have a record of my life. Like I love it. And there's a couple times where like you'll go through and you'll be journaling and you'll see like what you wrote about like a week ago or something, and then you get caught in the loop. But I love it. Like you'll go back and you'll read from like I'm reading from like January of 2020, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And like you go through day by day by day, and not only that, I see how much better of a writer I'm becoming. And it's like, whoa, this is fucking awesome. Like, oh, I'm progressing here. Oh my god, I remember soccer tryouts there, and I remember I fucking fucked up my ankle. It's like
because then you start.
Awesome.
I think that's helping you be grateful too for like the things that happened in the past.
Yeah.
Because you like seen what happened through it. What I started doing is I'm probably gonna start doing that again. But what I started doing is I write down every sin or everything bad that I think I've done for the day, and then I'm gonna get to the point where I really want to change something, and then have a battle with it each day. like have it like on the whiteboard or something. It's like me, let's just say junk food. I can't eat one piece of junk food. The next day rolls, it's Monday. At the end of the night, did I eat junk food or not? If I did, junk food won. If not, I won. And then do that for like a week, 2, 3 weeks, a month. Because that's what I did when semen retention. Yeah.
Homie's a fucking beast with that.
It
For those of you that don't know, Yvonne has been doing. Yeah, you think November's hard? How long are you?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna shock you, but a few weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah. I was feeling terrible, like mentally. So I was like, this shit is messing with my brain. So I thought it would change. I'm still on a streak now, but not as long. I'm sorry. But he's got to think about it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yo, the viewers don't know.
Yeah, it was like
How?
2 years.
Yeah.
Longer than 2 years. Yeah, but I was mentally feeling off. I was like, I need a change. I looked for anything. I did it one morning, and I was like, thing I realized is like, I think there is a benefit to, like, I'm on a streak right now. I think there's a benefit to it.
Yeah.
But it's not that different. Like, I feel better right now than I did a month ago. Like, it's definitely a help. When I first started doing it and I realized like for like a month I could just not do it, I saw that progress. So it's kind of like that lack of progress.
Yeah.
I guess might have. And the goal, I just like weighed off the goal because the goal in the beginning was so much in my head. But I was feeling terrible and I was like, let's just see if this fixes it. And it didn't. But I didn't beat myself about it. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
But
props to you for not, because I was gonna say I feel like that would have been like your house is on fire.
yeah, but I kept it to myself. I felt bad that like first 2 days, and then I realized like life moves on. I made a mistake. Let me build from this.
Yeah.
But what I do now is like it taught me a lot of things. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It taught me a lot of things. But now I enjoy having that streak. I don't know if it helps other people, but like, even if it's like what I was saying, like not eating junk food, just like for the day, did you win or not? And then do that for like until you conquer it. Cause I got to the point where like, I didn't have to jerk off. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And that's cause I had that streak. And then eventually you like stop remembering how many days it was.
Yeah.
But like just me looking at like, hey, like I didn't do it in like a year just gives me the motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
Or even if it's like 2 weeks.
2 weeks in, yeah. Damn.
I know you're like,
I'm flabbergasted.
I know you are.
Yeah, because people really don't know how big of a thing it was. No pun intended.
It was both ways, but yeah, yeah,
that's crazy shit.
yeah, it is. But thing I really got from it is like, at least from my perspective, right when I did it, I was like, sex is just designed for procreation.
Yeah,
that's what just hit me in the head. Like when I was, because it happened. I was monitoring it. I was like, why do I feel like that? Like, what could I learn from this? Because that was like one of the worst things I thought could happen to me.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
Yeah. So I learned a lot from it, but life moves on.
Yeah,
that's what I really got. Like, this,
you're a human being.
This
bro.
too shall pass. Like, life moves on. And thing is, I didn't bring it up, but like if somebody asked me, like you just did, like if you're on a streak, like I couldn't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah,
very glad you did.
That's one thing that you could have. Like, did you lie today?
You would feel so much worse if you lied about it.
Yeah,
you would feel so much worse.
Yeah,
because then you're trying to act like you're God.
Yeah, I didn't.
When you're not.
I don't know if I did the right thing, like not telling anybody, but like, if you asked me, like I said, like I would tell you.
Yeah, I mean, it feels shitty probably to tell.
Not nearly
as bad.
Not really, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Because what we were talking about earlier, it's like I really don't care what anybody thinks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Oh yeah, we were talking about that on FaceTime earlier. Because I brought it up. I was like thinking about, actually, this is funny actually, because I grew up listening to what you guys would say. Well, I'm not even going to use the terms, but you guys would roast my music taste. You know, I like One Direction. I like pop music. I like Dua Lipa and that kind of shit. And you guys are always like, you know, Tupac, Eminem, street like rap and whatever. Like, and
Shout out Lil Baby.
And I like that music too. But if it were to be my my preference is like not. I don't really have a preference of a genre, but the fact that I listen to that to like soft stuff in your eyes. Would make me so insecure, and like I would make playlists so that like whenever I was around you guys, like I could put that on so that like I wouldn't fucking have to want to kill myself listening to music I hated, but I also would not want to kill myself because I'm getting roasted on because I'm listening to Ariana Grande. And so I got to a point where I realized like, oh, I don't give a fuck anymore.
It's so like,
and I'm like I don't care if you and I'm not gonna mention names, but you know who. Like people would just like
shout out Matt,
shout out to Matt and Raphael and Tony, and so I would obviously just get roasted and like, but now like I don't give a fuck, right? And it's a lot easier because you guys are my boys. Like I'm not. It's not. It ain't no thing, you know. But
it's like a joke now. But like I could see how much energy you were just wasting on that.
Yeah, and it really beat me up about it, right? I beat myself up about it. Like fuck, like am I really fucking like a girl like that? Like whatever. And I'm like, eventually I worked on myself for enough time, a couple years, right? Consistently exercising, meditating, journaling, working on my mental health, working on my spirituality to the point where I love myself so much. Like it sounds so corny, but like I am in love with who I am. And I'm so fucking confident you would have no idea. And I don't need to like go around and be like, I'm fucking confident as fuck. But like I feel great about who I am, about my intentions, I love myself, I love life. Like why the fuck am I? And once you get to that point, you're not gonna care about what the fuck people say about you, how you look, about your music taste, right? And the reason is because of a feeling that's associated with doing things to make your life better, right? It's not just like, oh, well, I don't care about what they say. If you don't live a life where you're building habits and you're constantly making progress to transform yourself into the best version of yourself that you possibly can, you're not going to feel the self-love feeling. And until you do that, you can lie all you want. You can say the making fun of your music taste isn't going to affect you. It's affecting you. And I've been there on both sides of lying like, it doesn't affect me. I don't actually care. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And it's like one thing, you feel terrible from lying, but two is when you feel bad and you give that like just that attention to that bad feeling. Yeah. Like for me now, like we try to grow ourselves as much as we can. We don't allow ourselves to waste the energy of even putting our focus on something that's going to bring us down. Right. I think we've learned that like, hey, like thinking about me getting shitted on about my music makes me feel bad. I'm not going to think about it anymore.
Yeah, well, yes and no. It's not a cookie cutter answer for these kinds of things, because in this case, like I could think about the fact that you guys think it's soft all you want. And it doesn't, like, I don't care. Like now I feel it. I don't care. Yeah. Like, and I can think about it as much as I want. In fact, it's funny. It's funny to think that like that I used to get all emotional about it, right? But like bad. so thinking about something like that, it might actually be useful when it's painful, because in the moment, right? If somebody like you had told me, or somebody had told me like, hey, like, I know this is some shitty example sort of, but like, let's look deeper here. Why are you so insecure about your music taste because of what your friends think about it? Right? And it's like, oh, you're not confident. So maybe this is tangible of you don't clean your room, you don't meditate, you don't journal, you don't exercise, you don't take care of your mental health, you don't take care of your religious beliefs, you don't take care of your spirituality, your relationship with God, like all of these things. And if you develop those habits on a consistent basis, that would result in you not caring about what they think about your music, right? Then if you had said that, then that thought, that painful thought, would have been a good thing, right? Although I do understand what you're saying, there are some things you can just think about and feel shitty about, whether somebody passes away or life throws something shitty your way, like that maybe you have no control. So maybe that's where it is now that I think about it. Maybe if you can choose to think about things you have no control over that are shitty, and that will make you feel bad, and that's just a matter of change your focus. But if you focus on things that you feel shitty about that you can control, then that's a good use of your focus. But you need to make sure you're identifying the fact that you're feeling negative for a good reason, right? When on the flip side of it is if you're focusing on something you can't control, something that happened to you, something that might happen to you, whatever, that you can't control, and that negative emotion's there, that negative emotion's bad because it's not there to serve you.
I love that. Does
that make sense?
I mean, I think every emotion's there to serve you.
Agreed.
We agree with that, but you wouldn't like think about how somebody died for like the whole day.
Right.
But
does that make sense?
yeah, I love that.
Okay.
I love that.
I feel like I was like, I don't know, whatever. If it made sense, it made sense.
So like the more you work on yourself, you have that different perspective now on
Yes.
that certain thing.
Yes, but you can't change your perspective. Your perspective changes as a byproduct of you working on yourself, right? And tangibly, deeper into the roots of the tree here, the habits that you have on a consistent basis, right? It doesn't sound like they should be related, but you're not going to give a fuck if someone laughs at your music taste if you exercise every day, journal, read, meditate, and build your relationship with yourself. You won't.
Yeah.
You just won't, but it's a byproduct.
Because there's times where I'm not like doing those things, right? I'm not doing those things, and I'll just do driving as an example. I'll make a mistake. Someone beep their horn, like why'd you do that? And I'll be like, I feel pretty shitty about it. But when I'm actually doing those things, like working out, like meditating, doing those things, they do that. I'm like, let's keep driving.
Right. It's really hard to judge yourself when all day, every day, you're committing acts of love to yourself. It's really hard to judge yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, why am I going to judge this person that takes care of himself like nobody on this earth does? Why am I going to judge this person when he loves himself and does everything to love others? Why?
I think it's just ingrained in your head when you like say there's a pizza and you're just like, you want to eat it, but you're like, I'm on a diet, I'm not eating it. There's something that just goes in your head like
damn, you love yourself.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, it's because you chose God over the devil.
Wow.
Because when you choose God, God chooses you.
That's it. Because I'm focusing more on like not sinning, trying to sin as least as possible. So when there's times where like I can make fun of somebody, I did it earlier.
Yeah.
When there's times where I can make fun of people, and I choose God over the devil, I feel so much better.
You feel so much better. You feel that love.
And it's like if something happens after that, just that feeling of choosing God just drives me towards it, and I don't feel that negative emotion that would have arisen.
100%.
Wow, I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah. A lot of people like to look at the leaves of the tree, not realizing that the real problem lies within the soil and the roots of the tree.
The foundation.
Right? The foundation of everything. In the same sense where, what the hell were we just talking about?
That happens way too often. But,
the confidence thing, right?
Okay.
People look at the leaves of the tree, and in this case, the leaves of the tree are, I'm insecure about my music taste because my friends are making fun of me. So people will look at the leaves of the tree, right? And look at the leaves of the tree like that's where the issue lies, right? Because the leaves are all crumpled up and they're brown and they're dead. And you're like, well, we have to fix the leaves, right? We want the leaves to be better. In this case, the leaves being I'm insecure about your opinion on my music taste. And so you look at the leaves and you're like, I just want it to be green. How do I fix the leaf? Maybe let's paint it or whatever, right? But in reality, the problem is, no water's getting into the root of the tree. AKA, you're not working on yourself at all. You're not exercising. You're not reading. You're not journaling. You're not improving your mindset. You're not treating your relationships better. You're not doing all these things that are going to make you a more confident individual as we go up the tree, that are going to make you a more confident individual, that are going to make you not care about what your friends think about your music taste. And that's the leaf of the tree. But the leaf of the tree is a very good example of, is that leaf dead? Let's look at the root. The root is you're insecure.
So other leaves don't die as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And it'll fix the rest of the tree. Once you water it, all the other leaves are going to get better too.
Yeah, because it's like it's not like you're only looking at one leaf. You're like, damn, that leaf's kind of dry over there too.
Right, because the chances are if you're the type of person that's insecure about something, which I was, you're the type of person that's insecure about the fact that, that my friends think my music is soft. I'm also insecure about my height in school. Yeah. I'm also insecure that I wasn't starting on varsity. I'm also insecure about all these other things.
And then you're trying to fix all the leaves, but then you paint over some leaves. You can't even you forgot that you paint over the leaves. So you're like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
Sorry for swearing. But, but you just got to look at the root problem.
You got to look at the root of the problem.
The foundation. Look at the tree rather. I mean, when you go in nature, you don't look at one leaf, you look at the tree.
Right.
do that with your life.
Love that.
Love it too.
Let's wrap this bad boy
Let's
up.
do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into episode number 12 of the Jason Scalora Show. Again, with Mr.
IK.
IK. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We went kind of all over the place, but it was wonderful.
Yeah.
I had a really good time. And
So
I
did
think
I.
you kind of killed that shit. Can't even lie. It's what I do, honestly. Is
We get better each week.
We do get better each week.
Wait till like another like 3 days. I'll be like a pro. Now like give me like 20 years.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Peace,
out.
love, happiness. Stay handsome.